The banner catches my eye first. Bright red letters against pristine white fabric. 12 years of excellence. My hands tighten on the steering wheel as I slow down, processing the scene outside my parents' Georgian Colonial in Garland. Cars line the curved driveway, spilling onto the manicured lawn. Taryn's pearl-white Mercedes sits in the prime spot near the front door, where Dad always insisted on keeping space clear for special occasions. I tap the brakes, letting my Camry idle past the house at 15 miles per hour. Just slow enough to take it all in, just fast enough that no one will notice me. A cluster of people drift across the front porch, champagne flutes glinting in the Texas summer sun. Through the bay window, I glimpse my mother's signature pearls, her head thrown back in laughter at something my sister has said. A family business celebration. One I wasn't invited to. The realization settles in my stomach like swallowed ice water. I press the accelerator, my throat tight as I guide my car around the corner. The radio drones about an upcoming thunderstorm, but I barely register the words. My mind scrolls through a ledger of memories, each one taking on new weight. Last September, $12,000 transferred from my savings to cover their property tax bill. Just until the next quarter's profits come in, Dad had promised. The money never came back. February. 3 days of missed work to handle their insurance claim after the pipes burst. Taryn was too swamped with her social obligations to help. The brass picture frame on Mom's sidebar, the one where I'm positioned at the edge. Easy to crop out, like they've been doing with my life, piece by piece. My apartment comes into view solid brick, practical landscaping, nothing flashy. Inside, my furniture tells its own story. A second-hand leather couch chosen for durability, simple IKEA bookshelves, a kitchen table that's seen better days but still serves its purpose. No crystal chandeliers like the ones Taryn insisted on for her dining room. No imported marble countertops that my parents helped her select. The phone rings just as I'm unlocking my front door. Mr. Whitmore's name lights up the screen. I've known our family's estate attorney since I was small enough to steal mints from the crystal bowl on his desk. June. His voice carries the weight of aged bourbon and too many client secrets. I'm glad I caught you. There seems to be some confusion about the trust documents. I set my keys in their usual spot by the door. What documents? A pause fills the line. The revision paperwork, the ones we sent 3 weeks ago requiring your signature. The ceiling fan spins lazy circles above my head. My throat goes dry. I haven't received anything. That's odd. Papers shuffle in the background. The forwarding address was changed. Digital authorization from Taryn. She said you requested it. The fan blades tick softly, marking seconds. I watch them spin, focusing on their steady rhythm while my mind catalogs this new information with the precision of an accountant's ledger. June? Mr. Whitmore's voice carries a note of concern. Are you still there? Yes. My voice comes out steady, controlled. Like I'm discussing the weather instead of discovering another crack in the foundation of my family's trust. I'll look into the forwarding issue. Thank you for letting me know. I end the call and sink onto my practical couch, in my practical apartment, where I've built a life around being the reliable one, the quiet one, the one who fixes things without making waves. The fan continues its endless circles. Through my window, I watch the promised storm clouds gather, dark and heavy with summer rain. They mirror the weight in my chest, the pressure building behind my eyes. A text lights up my phone. Mom. Beautiful celebration today. The family business has come so far. Your father is so proud of Taryn's leadership. My finger hovers over the message. In my mind, I see that banner again. 12 years of excellence. Years I spent working summers in the warehouse, learning every aspect of the business while Taryn planned parties and charmed clients. Years of watching, waiting, hoping they'd see me too. Thunder rumbles in the distance. I set the phone face down on the coffee table, screen dark, message unanswered. Have you ever discovered a betrayal so deep, it makes you question every memory you thought was true? What would you do? Confront it loudly or investigate silently? Some questions don't need immediate answers. Some betrayals require careful handling, and some storms are worth waiting for. I grab my laptop and open a fresh spreadsheet. Column A, date. Column B, amount. Column C, explanation given. The thunder grows closer. I start typing. 2 days later, Mr. Whitmore's office breathes old money and older secrets. Dark walnut paneling stretches floor to ceiling, absorbing sunlight like a sponge. The leather armchair creaks under me, supple from decades of anxious clients shifting their weight while receiving bad news. As a child, I used to sneak peppermints from the crystal bowl on his desk. Now my hands rest motionless in my lap while he slides a stack of papers across the polished desktop. These are the most recent trust revisions. His voice carries the precise enunciation of a man who knows his words might someday be quoted in court. Dated 3 weeks ago. The paper feels expensive under my fingertips. Watermarked, heavy stock, the kind Taryn always insisted on for party invitations. My eyes scan the document, catching on phrases that punch the air from my lungs. Sole beneficiary, complete transfer of assets, immediately binding. I'd like to see the previous versions. The words emerge steady, measured. A lifetime of practice at containing earthquakes. Mr. Whitmore's eyebrows lift slightly. In 30 years of handling our family's legal matters, he's never heard me make a direct request. Of course. He turns to the filing cabinet behind him, brass handles gleaming in the afternoon light. The drawer slides open with practiced ease. He pauses, frowning at something inside. That's peculiar. A sealed envelope emerges, marked in my grandfather's distinct handwriting. For June. Inside, the original trust document spells out what I already suspected, an equal split. 50-50. My father's signature sprawls across the bottom, followed by a handwritten note. Copy retained. 2 hours later, my practical apartment feels colder when I return, despite the Texas summer heat pressing against the windows. The kitchen table transforms into a command center. Laptop open, bank statements spread in neat rows, highlighter poised between my fingers. Each family favor payment glows yellow against white paper. $12,000 for property taxes, $8,000 for the burst pipes, $20,000 when Taryn's Mercedes needed replacing after her second divorce. The numbers march down my spreadsheet. $64,500 over 5 years. Each emergency I covered while Taryn received praise for her generous spirit at family functions. The second mortgage I paid off after her financial emergency, which coincided suspiciously with the Aspen ski trip featured on her Instagram. My shoulders ache from hunching over records, but a new pattern emerges. Property transfers, all to Taryn. Small pieces of the family business carved away like slices of birthday cake I wasn't invited to share. The latest transfer bears Dad's signature, dated during his hospital stay for kidney stones. The same week, Mom swore he was too medicated to handle paperwork. The signature draws my eye. Something in the loops, the pressure points. I pull out Dad's birthday card from last year, laying them side by side under my desk lamp. His real signature flows like water, years of practice signing contracts evident in every stroke. The hospital transfer looks hesitant, studied, like someone trying too hard to copy his style. The ceiling fan whirs overhead, stirring papers with its breeze. My phone buzzes. Another family group text I'm not meant to see, accidentally included by Mom's perpetually mismanaged contact list. Taryn gushing about the next business expansion. Dad's proud response. Mom's string of heart emojis. I pick up my grandfather's Timex from the dresser, its worn leather band soft against my skin. He taught me about business in his quiet way, not through grand lectures, but small observations. Watch the paperwork, Junebug, he'd say, reviewing contracts at his kitchen table. Sweet talk is sugar water. Documentation is stone. The light catches the watch face, reflecting my expression. I barely recognize myself. The reliable daughter, the quiet fixer, has vanished. In her place sits a woman with steel in her spine and fire in her stomach. My laptop screen glows as I type "forensic handwriting analyst" into the search bar. The fan spins lazily above, marking time like a metronome. In the distance, thunder rolls across summer sky, promise of a storm that's been building longer than anyone suspected. A text lights up my phone. Taryn. Family dinner Sunday. Bring that wine mom likes. Have some exciting business news to share, Tara. I set the phone down and returned to my spreadsheet. Column D, documentation type. Column E, witness names. Column F, legal statute violations. Some storms deserve a perfect forecast. Some betrayals require the kind of quiet that comes before lightning splits the sky. A question floats in the charged air of my apartment. When family betrays your trust, do you confront them immediately or gather your evidence first? The answer whispers from the scattered papers, the highlighted numbers, the damning signatures. Sometimes the deepest wounds require the steadiest hands to heal, or to strike back. I add another column to my spreadsheet. Column G, consequences. Let them think I'm still the reliable one, the quiet one, the one who fixes things without making waves. They forgot that still waters can hide stones sharp enough to sink ships built on paper and lies. The fan spins. The thunder grows closer. My fingers type steady rows of evidence, each click of the keyboard another nail in the coffin of their betrayal. They taught me well, these masters of manipulation. Perhaps too well. Because I learned to keep receipts. 2 days later, the brass nameplate reads, Alton Reeves, attorney at law, in simple Helvetica font. No fancy script, no pretentious Latin phrases, just like my grandfather would have wanted. My knuckles tap against the heavy oak door, and a voice that sounds like well-worn leather calls out, Come in, Miss Monroe. Mr. Reeves stands as I enter, his silver hair catching the morning light from tall windows. Behind him, 3 generations of client photos line the walls. I spot my grandfather in one from 1975, shaking hands with a younger Mr. Reeves beside a Peterbilt truck with Monroe Logistics hand-painted on the door. Please, have a seat. He gestures to a leather chair that's seen 40 years of clients' worries. Bill spoke often about you. The envelope he slides across his desk is thick, cream-colored, sealed with red wax bearing the firm's stamp. My hands don't shake as I break the seal, but my heart pounds against my ribs like it's trying to escape. Your grandfather created this contingency trust 2 months before he passed. Mr. Reeves leans forward, his voice gentle but firm. He was concerned about certain family dynamics. The first page bears my grandfather's distinctive signature broad strokes, final letter trailing off like he was already moving to his next task. My eyes catch on a single sentence. Until her 35th birthday, June Elizabeth Monroe maintains full veto power over any transfer of Monroe family business assets exceeding $10. Zero in value. 11 days. The words slip out before I can catch them. I beg your pardon? I turn 35 in 11 days. The leather creaks as I shift forward. Why wasn't I notified of this before? Mr. Reeves removes his glasses, polishing them with a handkerchief. The trust terms specified this information should only be revealed if attempts were made to transfer assets without proper documentation. Which, according to the paperwork crossing my desk this morning, appears to be exactly what's happening. Memory washes over me like summer rain. I'm 12 again, sitting in Grandpa's workshop while he teaches me to sand wood with the grain. The scent of sawdust mingles with his Old Spice aftershave. Some folks charm their way through life, Junebug, he said, testing the surface with calloused fingers. But charm wears thin. Character, now that's what lasts. He looked at me then, really looked, in that way that made you feel seen down to your bones. Your sister lights up a room when she walks in. Nothing wrong with that. But you, sweet girl, you keep the lights on after everyone else has gone home. Back in Mr. Reeves' office, my fingers traced the trust document's edges. He knew this would happen. Bill Monroe built that business from a single truck and a handshake deal. He watched how you worked every summer, learning the warehouse inventory system, memorizing client routes. Mr. Reeves pulls another file from his desk, and he watched how others treated that legacy. Inside the file, a handwriting analyst's report confirms what my gut already knew about Dad's signature on those transfer papers. The strokes are wrong, the spacing artificial. Like someone trying to forge a masterpiece without understanding the artist's technique. My laptop opens to a spreadsheet I've been building for weeks. Dates, amounts, explanations given. Each entry a small betrayal, adding up to a pattern I can no longer ignore. Mr. Laptop opens, disgrace and frees all. Reeves studies it, nodding slowly. Methodical, like your grandfather. He hands me a business card. This is Angela Norell, best forensic accountant in Dallas. She doesn't advertise, but she's helped other families navigate similar situations. I tuck the card into my wallet behind a faded photo grandpa and me on his porch swing, my legs too short to reach the floor, his watch face catching the evening sun. The same watch now circles my wrist, its steady tick marking time like a metronome. Thank you. I gather the documents, each page a piece of armor I never knew I had. June. Mr. Reeves stands, his expression serious. Your grandfather used to say something about business dealings. Do you remember? A smile tugs at my lips. Trust paper, not promises. Indeed. He walks me to the door. He'd be proud of how you're handling this. Not with shouting or social media drama, but with evidence. I finish. The word tastes like truth on my tongue. In my car, I place the trust documents in a manila envelope, marking the date with the same precise handwriting I learned cataloging inventory all those summers ago. The afternoon sun gleams off Grandpa's watch as I check the time 3 hours until the family dinner where Taryn plans to present her restructuring proposal. My phone buzzes with a text from Mom. Don't forget dinner tonight. Taryn has exciting news about the business's future. I start the engine, thinking about futures and pasts, about quiet strength and loud promises, about how the smallest line in a legal document can change everything. Sometimes the quietest person in the room is the most dangerous when betrayed. And sometimes protection comes from beyond the grave, written in careful letters and sealed with red wax, waiting for the exact moment it's needed most. Pulling out of the parking lot, I catch a glimpse of that old photo on the wall, me grandfather's handshake, his proud smile, the truck that started it all. He taught me more than inventory systems and wood sanding. He taught me that true strength doesn't need to announce itself. It simply waits for the right moment to act. The bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon knocks against my leg as I walk up the brick path to my parents' front door. $20 at the local wine shop, not the $100 vintages Taryn brings, but good enough for a family dinner. My knuckles whiten around the neck of the bottle as the door swings open. June, darling. Mom's pearls catch the evening light. She pulls me into a hug that smells of Chanel No. 5 and pot roast. We weren't sure you'd make it. The foyer mirror reflects my careful smile. Wouldn't miss Sunday dinner. Inside, the dining room table stretches beneath crystal candlesticks and bone china plates. Dad occupies his usual spot at the head, reading glasses perched on his nose as he studies what looks like business papers. Taryn floats between the kitchen and dining room in a silk blouse that probably cost more than my monthly car payment. Just in time, she waves a manicured hand. Mom made your favorite dessert. My favorite is actually apple pie. She's thinking of her own preference, chocolate mousse. But I just nod, settling into my assigned seat while Mom fusses with water glasses. The quarterly numbers came in. Taryn's voice carries that practiced lilt she uses for client presentations. Revenue up 30% since I streamlined operations. Dad beams. That's my girl. Always knew you had the Monroe business sense. The pot roast sits heavy in my stomach as dinner progresses. Mom chatters about Taryn's latest civic committee appointment. Dad nods along, occasionally jumping in with proud commentary about Taryn's leadership style. I cut my meat into precise squares, counting backward from 100. Oh, June. Mom pauses between bites. How's that insurance office treating you? Still handling those claims? Actually, I was promoted too. Before I forget, Taryn's voice slices through mine. She pulls a leather portfolio from beside her chair. I brought the division agreement for everyone to sign. Just a formality, really, streamlining the trust structure. The ticking of the grandfather clock fills my silence. Inside my sensible leather purse, a manila envelope waits. Now? Mom's fork clinks against china. During dinner? Perfect timing. Taryn slides papers across the table. Everyone's here, and the notary's on standby for a video call. I dab my mouth with the linen napkin. Before we sign anything, I have some questions. The candlelight flickers as I reach for my purse. Taryn's smile remains fixed, but her fingers drum once against the table's polished surface. Questions? Dad shifts in his chair. It's straightforward, June, just standard paperwork. Like this standard paperwork, I lay out the original trust document. Or this bank statement showing $12,000 I paid for property taxes. Another paper joins the first. Or perhaps this handwriting analysis of Dad's signature from when he was in the hospital. The crystal water glasses vibrate as Taryn's hand slams down. What are you doing? My job. I place Mr. Reeves' letter beside the growing stack, protecting what matters like Grandpa taught me. Your grandfather, Dad starts, left a contingency trust. My voice stays level, one that gives me veto power over asset transfers until I turn 35. I meet Taryn's gaze. 11 days from now. Mom's pearls click together as her hand flies to her throat. That's impossible. The paperwork was forged. I tap the handwriting analysis. And the funds were diverted. If this goes to court, you'll need more than charm. You'll need evidence. The weight of 3 generations of Monroe business sense steals my spine. I brought mine. Taryn's laugh shatters the silence. You're insane. Mom, Dad, tell her she's insane. But they don't speak. Their eyes lock onto the papers before years of quiet theft laid bare in black and white. My phone buzzes, right on schedule. That's Norrell Nix. I set the phone on speaker. My attorney would like to discuss settlement options. Taryn's perfect French manicure scrapes against silk as her hands clench. You conniving little. Miss Monroe? Norrell's voice fills the room. I have the injunction paperwork ready. Should I file tonight? I stand, my chair scraping against hardwood. Behind Dad's shoulder, a family photo catches my eye. The one where I'm positioned at the edge, almost cropped out. But behind it, tucked away, sits the original, the one from before they started erasing me. I lift both frames from the wall. No filing tonight, Norrell. I'll call you tomorrow. My family needs time to think about their choices. The original photo tucks perfectly into my purse. Taryn's face has turned the same shade as her silk blouse. June. Dad's voice cracks. We can explain. You can. I shoulder my purse. To the forensic accountant, Tuesday at 10. The grandfather clock strikes 8 as I walk out, its chimes echoing through the house Grandpa built. Behind me, Taryn's voice rises in a stream of accusations. Mom's soft crying provides harmony. But all I hear is Grandpa's voice from the contingency trust letter. The quiet ones see everything, sweet pea. They just wait for the right moment to speak. I close the door on the chaos behind me, the weight of evidence replaced by something lighter. Maybe it's justice, maybe it's freedom. Or maybe it's just the satisfaction of knowing that sometimes the most devastating weapon isn't a shout. It's the sound of silence finally breaking. On Tuesday, the morning sun strikes the courthouse steps like a spotlight. I adjust my grandfather's watch on my wrist, its familiar weight grounding me as the metal detector beeps green. My sensible pumps click against marble floors that have witnessed a century of family disputes just like this one. Miss Monroe. Mr. Whitmore rises from a wooden bench, his briefcase worn at the corners from decades of similar meetings. They're already inside. The conference room door opens to reveal my family arranged like chess pieces. Mom clutches her signature pearls, eyes red-rimmed. Dad stares at his folded hands. Taryn holds court at the head of the table, her lawyer hovering nearby like an anxious understudy. June. Mom reaches toward me, but I choose a seat beside Mr. Whitmore, across from our family attorney of 30 years. The table stretches between us like a canyon. Let's begin. Judge Patricia Reeves shuffles papers with practiced efficiency. Her reading glasses catch the fluorescent light as she reviews the evidence we submitted last week. I see the assets are currently frozen pending our discussion. Taryn's manicured fingers drum against the table. This is ridiculous. A simple misunderstanding blown out of proportion. The judge's glasses lower. A misunderstanding involving forged signatures and redirected trust documents? My sister's fingers still. I open my laptop, each keystroke precise as I pull up our family's financial history. 5 years of transactions spread across the screen like a roadmap of betrayal. Would you like to see the evidence of funds I provided under false pretenses? June. Dad's voice cracks. We never meant to get caught? The words escape before I can stop them, quiet but sharp. Mr. Whitmore places a hand on my arm. I draw a slow breath, remembering his advice. Let the evidence speak. Your Honor. Taryn's lawyer slides forward, smooth as oil on water. My client has been the driving force behind Monroe Logistics' recent success. These accusations of impropriety are supported by forensic evidence. Judge Reeves taps the handwriting analysis report. The signature transferring primary control predates your client's involvement by 3 years. And according to these bank records, it was signed while Mr. Monroe was hospitalized for bypass surgery. The color drains from my mother's face. She turns to Taryn. You said Dad signed those papers at the office. Taryn's mask slips for just a moment, revealing something ugly beneath her polished surface. He would have signed them anyway. I was just being efficient. By committing fraud? The judges could freeze Texas in August. My sister stands, designer heels steadying her like armor. June abandoned the business. I'm the one who stayed. I'm the one who built our reputation, who handles the clients, who keeps this family's legacy alive, while she hides in her little apartment counting pennies. A familiar heat rises in my chest, but I focus on my grandfather's watch. Tick, tick, tick. Time moving forward, never back. Like him, I choose my words with care. I have copies of every client contract from the past 12 years. My voice remains level as I pull up another spreadsheet, including notes on which ones required personal guarantees, ones that would be invalidated by proof of fraudulent management. I meet Taryn's eyes. Would you like me to share those with the judge? The room goes still. Even the air conditioning seems to hold its breath. Given the evidence, Judge Reeves says into the silence, I'm prepared to rule on the trust's dissolution. Miss Monroe, as the injured party, you could petition for full control. The option hangs there, tempting as Texas summer sweet tea. I could take it all: the business, the properties, the family legacy. Make them feel what I felt, watching from the outside while Taryn played favorite daughter. But I remember my grandfather's words, written in the margin of his old ledger. We protect what matters, Junebug, not for pride, for purpose. I don't want control, Your Honor. I close my laptop. I want restoration. Return to the original 50-50 split my grandfather intended. Legal protections against further tampering, and restitution for the $64,000 I provided under false pretenses. Taryn's laugh holds no humor, still playing the noble victim. No, I stand, shoulders straight. I'm honoring the man who built this business, who taught me that legacy isn't about power, it's about responsibility. I turn to Judge Reeves. I'm also requesting 10% of the restitution be donated to elder financial abuse prevention programs. June. Mom's voice wavers. We never meant to hurt you. But you did. The truth settles between us like dust after a storm. Every time you looked away, every time you chose her charm over my commitment, every time you let her crop me out of family photos while taking my money. Dad's head snaps up. The photos? Check the dining room sidebar. My voice softens. Behind the new frame, you'll find the original, the one where we're all together. The judge's gavel cracks like summer thunder. The court accepts Miss Monroe's terms. Assets will be restored according to the original trust documents, with additional oversight. She fixes each family member with a stern gaze. I suggest you all reflect on what brought you here today. Family bonds, once broken, aren't easily mended. We file out in silence. In the marble hallway, Taryn's heels stop clicking. You could have taken everything. That's the difference between us. I check my grandfather's watch one last time. I protect. I don't possess. The courthouse doors open to bright Texas sun. Behind me, I hear my mother call my name, her voice small against the vastness of the sky. But some distances can't be measured in feet or miles. I step into the light, leaving them in the cool marble shadows. Sometimes justice isn't about winning or losing. Sometimes it's about finding the strength to walk away, carrying only what truly belongs to you. My phone buzzes with a text from Mr. Whitmore. Your grandfather would be proud. I smile, touching the worn leather watch band. Some legacies aren't built in boardrooms or courthouses. They're built in quiet moments of choice, when you finally understand that family is more than blood, it's the truth. A month later, the screen door creaks shut behind me, its familiar spring tension releasing a sound that carries across Lake Hemlock's still waters. Grandfather's cabin rises around me, all rough-hewn cedar and memories. Boxes of his books line the walls, fishing gear still arranged exactly as he left it 5 years ago. Through the windows, golden hour sunlight spills across the worn floorboards, warming the space like a gentle welcome home. I run my fingers along a shelf of leather-bound volumes, classics mixed with practical guides to everything from woodworking to business ethics. A thin layer of dust comes away on my fingertips. The realtor asked if I wanted the place cleaned before moving in. I told her no, some things deserve to be handled personally. The renovation materials wait in the garage, bundles of fresh cedar planks, boxes of brass fixtures, supplies to update the bathroom and kitchen while keeping grandfather's original vision intact. Nothing flashy, nothing that screams of new money or borrowed prestige, just honest materials that will age with dignity, like the man who built this place. Outside, waves lap against the dock posts. The sound draws me through the back door and onto weathered boards that have held 3 generations of fishing stories. The sunset paints the water in shades of amber and rose, so different from the harsh fluorescent lights of conference rooms and legal offices that filled the past months. A knock at the front door breaks my reverie. Mrs. Patterson from 2 cabins over stands on the porch, clutching a weathered envelope. Her eyes sparkle with recognition. "Found this while cleaning out my storage shed," she says, pressing the envelope into my hands. "Your grandfather asked me to hold on to it, said the timing would be right someday." The paper feels fragile, yellowed at the edges. Inside, his distinctive handwriting flows across the page in steady strokes, each letter carved with the same care he put into building this dock. "My dear June, if you're reading this, you've already learned what I always knew about you. You protect, not possess. That's why I chose you. The family business was never about the money, it was about building something that would shelter generations. You understand that in your bones. The cabin is yours now, not because you're perfect, but because you're steady. Not because you shout the loudest, but because you listen the deepest. Make it your own, but remember its roots. Keep fishing, keep reading, keep protecting what matters. All my love. Grandpa Bill." The words blur as tears spill onto my cheeks. Mrs. Patterson's hand finds my shoulder, squeezes gently. "He talked about you often," she says softly. "Said you were the one who truly inherited his spirit." After she leaves, I sit on the porch steps, letter cradled in my lap. The lawyers suggested selling this place, using the money to buy something closer to the city, but they didn't understand. Some inheritances can't be measured in square footage or market value. My phone buzzes. Another message from Mom, the 3rd this week, each one shorter than the last, testing the waters. I set it aside, letting the boundary hold. They'll learn. Or they won't. Either way, I'm done playing by their rules. The renovation starts tomorrow. Local contractors, recommended by neighbors who remember my grandfather. They understand about keeping the original beams exposed, preserving the hand-carved trim work. This place won't become another showcase of excess. It will grow stronger, more itself, like the person I'm becoming. Weekend sounds drift across the lake. A screen door slamming, children's laughter, the purr of a pontoon boat heading home for dinner. Simple sounds, real ones. I think about the scholarship I established last week, the William Monroe Ethics and Family Business Grant. 3 students already selected, each one promising to put integrity before profit. The dock beckons as dusk settles in. I grab grandfather's old fishing rod, still perfectly balanced after all these years. The cast comes naturally, muscle memory preserved from childhood summers. The line arcs out over darkening water, lands with a soft plunk. Lisa and Mark are coming up tomorrow, bringing a simple housewarming dinner. Real friends who stood by during the legal battles, who understand why this place matters. We'll eat on the deck, nothing fancy, just honest food and conversation, the way grandfather would have wanted. His photo watches from its place of honor by the fireplace. Not the formal portrait from the office, but the one of him on this very dock, holding up a largemouth bass with the proudest grin. The frame sits straight, positioned where everyone can see it. No more edges to crop, no more shadows to hide in. The first stars appear overhead, pinpricks of light in a deepening blue sky. A fish tugs at my line, gentle at first, then with growing confidence. I smile, remembering grandfather's favorite saying, "Sometimes the quiet ones surprise you the most." I begin to reel in, steady and sure, knowing exactly who I am and where I stand. Some victories don't need applause, some restorations happen in silence, one careful choice at a time. Like this cabin. Like me. The fish breaks the surface, scales gleaming in the last light of day. I lift it clear, a perfect catch on my grandfather's line, in the house that he built, under a sky that feels infinite with possibility.